How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi, When They Cry. So, we finished up the first chapter. I guess that's what they're referring, these different sections of the game. And they're dividing up these sections with these little menus here where you get to view some tips, which I guess are in the form of scenes, which I will view, do not worry. I don't know how I feel about calling them chapters, because this game I'm playing is literally a chapter of the series. So I don't want to confuse myself and or others. Probably more so myself, but I'll refer to them as chapters, just for the sake of keeping things simple. I don't remember what happened in the last episode other than meeting our classmates, or getting to know them a little bit better, understand our situation here with the school, our hometown. I think we're about to go explore the town. The village, I mean, excuse me. So let us continue on. Let us jump back into this. I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. And to top it off, that pesky mom of mine pushing a return journey errand on me just as I'm trying to leave the house. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. See, I was right. What the fuck? Sprites had a little bit of a problem there. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place.
Kei-chan, osoi zo.
悪い悪い。責めるのは夕べの面白かった特番に言ってくれ。
Yes, do not blame me for watching said show. Blame said show for being entertaining.
女の子との待ち合わせに遅刻して言い訳がそれってわけ?
I'm gonna do this like probably a lot in this playthrough out of curiosity. What do the other sprites for these characters look like with these outfits? Aha. What the fuck? A gun? Why does she have a gun in the, why? Why?
みーちゃんだって今来たばかりなんだよ。
ゆうべの密着24時間面白かったし、ねえ。
She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right. Rena really did make a picnic.
ケイちゃん、あの後レナ、大張り切りだったらしいよ。
別に俺がけしかけたわけじゃないだろう。
そんな大変じゃなかったから気にしないでよ。ね。
ゆうべから今朝まであのテンションらしいよ。責任取れんの？
No,
わかった。
I'm not going to.
俺も男だ。責任は取る。
I'm sure we're capable, but that doesn't mean we have to.
責任ってなんだろう。
As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Rena we were talking about here.
2キロくらいかな。
レナね、荷物持つとき、よっこらしょって言ってた。5キロ。
それはオーバー。ケイチくん男の子だから。
What does that have to do with anything?
きっといっぱい食べるだろうと思ってたくさんね。もう行こう。よっこらよっこ。
Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunchboxes.
訂正。俺も5キロ。
I do like how this
手
has
伝いはするけど、全部食べるんだからね。
I'll hold off. I'll hold off on my statement here.
許さないよ。
The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I like the older feeling I'm getting from this show. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I haven't watched a lot of older anime, and I obviously haven't played a lot of older visual novels, but I do get that feeling that, not nostalgia, definitely not nostalgia, but just, I don't know how to explain it. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No slovenly desk jockeys, slovenly, well whatever, trudging to work on the weekends out here. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around.
あ、こんにちは。
こんにちは。あら、そちらは。確か、前原くんだったかしら。
My two companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passers-by even knew my name.
なんで俺ってこんなに有名人なんだ？
We passed 3 people, and when all three of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid.
悲しいかな。Hinamizawaは人が少ないからね。
つまりなん
Not
だ？
my bad. Did not mean to cut her off
知らない
there.
顔が歩いてれば、それは自動的に新しく引っ越してきた前原さんってことになるわけか。
That is a pretty good assumption to make.
そういうことになるね。
It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this, but it was quite effective. I do kind of like that. Like, there's ups and downs to being in like a small populated area. It's a little bit more tight-knit, sure, everybody knows everyone. That can be good and bad. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. Exactly. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling as the lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. It really isn't. And that's not the end of this nightmare.
もちろんわかるよ。最初に会ったのが牧野林店の竹蔵おじさん。趣味は盆栽と尺八なんだよ。
次が乾物屋の次男の大輔くん。趣味は狙撃で、将来の夢は超永久スナイパーだとか。
I hope I don't need to remember
そ
any
れ
of
で今の
this.
人は入江診療所の看護師のミオさん。趣味は野鳥の観察と撮影だって。
Also, man, they really
すれ違った
just
全員の名前までわかるのかよ。
okay, but not only that, they know the names, yes, but they also know
プロフィー
hobbies.
ルまで。
Yeah, that's wild. Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter.
まあね。ここいらは都会みたいにご近所付き合いが希薄じゃないからね。
試しに聞いてみよう。今ここにいる俺は誰だ？
前原圭一くん。意地悪なこと言うけど、本当は優しいテレ屋さん。
A kind, shy person, huh?
転校してきてようやく3週間。趣味は昼寝。最近トランクス派に転校。
Wait, what?
したよね。
もういいもういい。
How do they have that information?
クス。
それもいい。
Apparently, there is absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa is not a place to be trifled with. We repeat. Gotta get that point across after all.
これじゃあさ、俺のための案内ってより、俺のお披露目みたいだな。
そうだね。うちらさ、これだけ賑やかに練り歩いてたからね。みんな思うんじゃない？ケイちゃんもHinamizawaに馴染んでくれたんだって。
Hinamizawaは過疎だから。村中みんなが新しい仲間を歓迎してくれてるの。
I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. And of course, we were called out to again the same way.
あら、こんにちは。仲良しそうでいいわね。
藤島さんちのおばさんだよ。こんにちは。
あら、前原くん、両手に花でいいわね。
What a voice.
どう？生活はもう慣れた？
Instead of regurgitating, I know this word, I just can't pronounce things. A prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Sometimes I just can't pronounce things. I apologize. As I look back over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink.
でね
So I used to live in a small town. Not as small as this, definitely not as small. But a little bit more tight-knit. Not really where everybody knew everyone, but you had a greater idea of who was who and who did what, kinda. The neighborhood I was in was very close and very kind in a way where if you drive by one of your neighbors, it's one of those things where you will wave. And if you walk across them, or if you come across them on a walk or something like that, you will say hello and do a little greeting. Maybe not to this extent, but this does exist. In the real world, this is still
そろ
a
そろお
thing.
昼にしないかな
Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other.
俺も男だ。努力はする。だが量が多すぎる。
よしケイちゃん、ここはおじさんに任せなさい。
Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does now. I'd expect no less from the class representative.
レナ、どうせ食べるならさ、見晴らしのいいところで食べない？
それいい賛
Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Yes. Where are we now? Ooh. Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling.
ここはね古出神社っていうの
It's pretty tight, not
多
gonna
分
lie.
見晴らしが一番いいところかな
ここの場所、よく覚えといてね。もうすぐここでお祭りがあるんだから。
へえ。祭りにしちゃちょっと早いシーズンだよな。
No. It's never too late for a festival.
綿流しは夏祭りじゃなくてね。昔は冬の終わりを喜ぶお祭りだったらしいよ。
I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer.
さて弁当を広げてっと
Various colored lunchboxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all of this? Hey Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get this all down, you know.
こんにちはです
Okay. We know, yeah, okay. I was gonna say, like, wait, who is Rika? But I was like, oh wait, color blue. Yeah, we've seen that hair color before. It was Rika-chan and Sadako. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was her plan. The power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty, excuse me.
騒がしいから来てみればこれは何ですの
見りゃわかるだろ。これからランチタイムだ。ビュッフェスタイルだ。レナの手作り弁当に舌鼓だ。
そんなの見ればわかるでございますわどうして人様の庭でご座なんか広げてますの
神社は公共の場所だぞ。勝手に独占するな。
圭一の言う通りですよみんなのお庭にしますです
くー、やっぱりリカちゃんはいい子だな。座りな、そこ。一緒に食べよう。
After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back to Sadako.
ちょっとお待ちなさいな私はどこに座ればいいんですの
お前に座る場所はないし、食べる分もない。
Damn.
大丈夫だよさとこちゃんの分もちゃんとあるから
ない。さとこの分も俺がいただく。
そんなことは許せませんのリカはいお箸です
Both Sadako and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other.
いやはや、ケイちゃん乗せるのうまいわほんと。
Truly our specialty, I suppose.
才能あるのかもしれない。
はいお皿みーちゃんもリカちゃんも
Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates.
僕たちも頑張らないとなくなってしまうです。
そうだね。よし、参戦と行くかな。
いっぱい食べてね。ちゃんとみんなの分あるから。
Low-key, I am kind of hungry. I think I will eat after this recording session. Rena said as she opened up a thermos. This is a really cool looking village, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know how fantastic it would be to live in during like a very like heavy storm with a lot of rain. Especially with that hill being there. I'm not really sure. Then again, I get nervous about any type of storm, light or small, or light, small, heavy, large, chaotic, destructive, anything. Just, it's all very nerve-wracking for me. I don't know why. But regardless, a very beautiful looking place, I have to admit. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different.
そのハンバーグは渡しませんわ。
Alright.
いや、肘は反則だろ、サトコ。
So I was actually kind of curious, is there different CGs? No, it looks like there are not. Okay. I had to try.
襟首をつかむのも反則でございます。
It was a tough battle, blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves. Sadako appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal, and gave me the upper hand.
最後のミートボール。
校長、サトコ。
Meetabalu.
破れたり。
Satoko and I, Amy, what are these words that I just cannot pronounce tonight? Amiably began choking down the same time, or at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement, It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. But, well, things will change soon, I'm sure. That was foreshadowing, and had to have been foreshadowing. I mean, come on. It's a slow start. We're trying to get comfortable in everything, get to know the characters, see that this village has, like, nothing wrong with it, all is well in the world. And then something will, like, come to destroy, like, everything that's so nice about our life. Come on, that's easy to expect here. The intense battle calmed, and then finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh.
日本語ってやつはさ、どうしてこう味に対する賛辞が少ないんだろうな。
食事中の団らんって考えがそもそも近代に入ってからだからじゃない？
昔の人は無言で食事を済ませたそうだし、作る人もちょっぴり寂しかったろうね。きっと昔の人は食べるのに忙しくて味を褒める暇もなかったのですわ。
That's just you.
でもね、美味しいの一言だけでも嬉しいよ。苦労の甲斐があったかなって。
I wish I could cook. She blushed a little as she said that.
美味しいです。
With absolutely perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence.
Huh?
After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof.
リカちゃん、お持ち帰りじゃなくて、ありがとう。本当に美味しかったですよ。
Rena flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you can almost hear it.
リカちゃんには褒めてもらったお礼に、じゃーん、これ
2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way.
なんだよ、サトコ。その挑戦的な目は。
皆さんにはレナさんのリンゴを獲得できるだけの賛辞が用意できまして。
強気じゃんよ。ボキャ品のあんたにどんな賛辞が思いつくっての？
Ouch.
ではご覧あそばせ。
After Sadako flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly.
レナお姉ちゃんのお弁当、サトコも美味しかったよ。
Sadako looked up at her haughtily while talking cutesy. What? How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is Rena Limited special skill, or is a Rena Limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena. But of course, she will. Yeah, there you go. Of course, I was asking for the impossible. Rena glomped Sadako and began to rubbing her cheek against her.
かいかい。サトコちゃんもかいよ。お持ち帰り。はう。
Swish, stab, push. Sadako was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair, to think she had such a trick.
悔しければレナさんにご褒美がもらえるような賛辞をお考えあそばせ。
But we're a boy, and she's a female. Damn it. That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise.
サトコ、それで勝てたつもりとはね。あんたらの底の浅い技とはわけが違うものを見せてあげようじゃない。
それは頼もしいぜ、ミオ。それはどんな技なんだ？
やるのはケイちゃん。
はぁ？
Wait, what?
見せてもらおうではございませんか。戸島のあがきを。
The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Sadako. After sipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly. Perfectly.
本当に美味しいよな。これってさ、全部手作りなのかい？
実はね、これほとんど冷凍物なの。
じゃあ、レナの手作りのってどれだい？
Oh, we're doing this again.
恥ずかしいな。教えなきゃダメ？どうしても？
From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria.
わかるよ。これでしょ。
Rena turned an even deeper shade of red, the words I can't believe it practically written on her face.
なんでわかるかな？レナの手作り。
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher.
レナの匂いがしたから。
Huh? Oh, I guess that froze time. Perfect. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Sadako also blushed. Of course I did too.
レナの手作りのリンゴのウサギさんが食べたいな、なんて。
Even if this was all because I was competing against Sadako, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. And then at that moment... Uh-oh, did we get hit? It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Did we win?
いっぱいあるんだよね。
I think we won. Instantly, dozens of apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over.
はい、して、ケイチくん、
My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. How about them apples, Sadako? It looks like we win.
ケイちゃん、殉職見事なり。
Truly.
どうよ、サトコ。うちらの完全勝利だね。
こんな手、信じられないですの。悔しくないもん。
Sadako ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. Oh no. I guess it really was a sacrifice. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something.
リカちゃん、食べないの？塩水強すぎたかな？かな？
Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do.
うさぎさんがかわいそうです。
Oh, of course.
助けてあげてほしいです。
What the fuck? Did she, like... Yeah, okay. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose.
かいいよ。今夜こそ絶対本持ち帰り。
She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then coming back to her senses, she took all of the apples around me, gathered them up with a whip, and fixed them back up on a plate.
これでみんな寂しくないよね。これリカちゃんにあげる。ね。
Rika-chan raised up Sadako's hand like a referee. After having that plate of rabbits shoved to her, she whispered,
僕たちが勝ちましたです。
God damn it.
逆
I just don't care anymore. Thus my sacrifice ended up being in vain. Truly. It truly did. Yeehaw. Yes, that is the name of the game. Are we done with this chapter? Is that it? Would that actually be it? Or are we going into like... Okay, yeah, I guess it's just going into another part. Alright, well, perfect time to save the game and call it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in for this one. That was fun. It's really hard to believe that this will eventually become a horrific game. And, you know, kind of the same thing whenever I played Doki Doki Literature Club years ago. Like, I wasn't really taking it seriously. I had let my guard down, and I'm doing that now. How can I have my guard up when there's all this, you know, fun-loving, childish, yeehaw shit and nothing scary to behold? I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm having fun. But of course, I need to be expecting something. I just don't know when that something comes. So we'll see what happens. I'll get nervous each episode I record, maybe. And I guess we'll just continue on with all this introduction, if you will. Thank you all for tuning in for this episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.